Roman Reigns has a hilarious reaction to his Yeet celebration with JUSO. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jennifer, have a nice day. For the WWE family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you. On WWE Raw, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman exchanged tense words before Reigns warned Braun Breaker that Heyman might eventually betray him. Breaker fired back, calling himself the top dog and the future of WWE. Reigns mocked Braun Breaker, claiming he didn't hear anything and tossed his mic at him, only to follow up with a Superman punch. A scuffle broke out, with Reigns momentarily outnumbered by Breaker and Bronson Reed. However, just as Bronson Reed was preparing to land a move on Roman Reigns, JUSO ran out to help his cousin. Together, Jay and Reigns battled Breaker and Reed, hitting them with spears. The show ended with Jey Uso's theme playing in the arena as he and Roman stood tall with Paul Heyman, while Breaker and Reed made their exit. After the show went off the air, WWE posted a video of Roman Reigns doing the Yeet celebration with fans and his cousin JUSO. Reigns reacted to the video with a hilarious comment, jokingly writing, "Definitely AI." WWE superstar Jimmy USO was unsuccessful in capturing the United States Championship from Solo Sikoa at Saturday night's main event XL. On the following episode of Raw, Roman Reigns returned to assist CM Punk and JUSO in confronting Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, continuing his rivalry with Seth Rollins and his allies. Since much of the action is unfolding on the Red brand, the former 8-time tag team champion might switch to Monday Night Raw. Here are 4 possibilities for Big Jim if he makes the move. The SmackDown Tag Team division is currently a competitive environment. The WWE Tag Team Championship has changed hands multiple times among teams like DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits. The titles are currently held by the Wyatt Six, and the newly formed team of Rey Fenix and Andrade is set to challenge them on this week's SmackDown. In contrast, the World Tag Team Championship on Raw tends to remain with a team until major storyline developments occur. Currently held by the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonough, the titles may stay with them until the faction experiences disruption or a shift in narrative. Jimmy USO could alter this dynamic if he reunites with his brother JUSO to pursue the World Tag Team Championship. The duo has previously held the Raw Tag titles 3 times and the SmackDown Tag titles 5 times. While the USOs are currently focused on their singles careers, a short-term reunion could inject fresh energy into the Monday Night Tag division. This would also pose a compelling challenge for the Judgment Day. However, if the USOs reunite, JUSO, aka Meister Yeet, may have to part ways with Roman Reigns after SummerSlam to team up with his brother. Earlier, Jimmy USO confronted Gunther ahead of WrestleMania 41, leading to a heated singles match. The ring general decisively defeated Big Jim, with JUSO restrained at ringside, forced to watch the match unfold. JUSO later avenged his brother by defeating Gunther at WrestleMania 41 to capture the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time. However, Gunther reclaimed the title on the Raw after Money in the Bank and has returned to dominance. As a result, Big Jim might now target Gunther for both championship ambitions and personal redemption. The OG bloodline has been scattered since Raw's Netflix debut, when its members joined forces to help Roman Reigns against Solo Sikoa and his faction. The OTC won the tribal combat match and regained his Ula Fala from his former ally. Since then, while individual members have occasionally assisted each other, the group remains largely separate. Notably, the Survivor Series is scheduled for November 29th this year. While that's still 4 months away, WWE may need to consider Roman Reigns' limited schedule and begin building the storyline early if the OG bloodline is to participate in the men's War Games match. Therefore, the faction will need a meaningful reunion moment, something that could easily happen with Jimmy USO on WWE Raw. Dominic Mysterio was sidelined with a rib injury, causing him to withdraw from Night of Champions. AJ Styles, skeptical about Dirty Dom's condition, continued to keep tabs on him for weeks. This week's Raw featured the Judgment Day member ambushing Styles and announcing he'd face him at SummerSlam. Interestingly, however, the Phenomenal One may be heading to TNA, which could result in a loss to Dominic Mysterio at the biggest party of the summer. After that, Dom would need a new opponent, and Jimmy USO could be a great fit. As a former 8-time tag team champion, Jimmy won't be contending for the US Championship at this time, since that title is involved in the Solo Sikoa Jacob Fatu storyline. In Dom's case, Finn Balor might try to push him to relinquish the Intercontinental title as payback for taking it from him at WrestleMania 41. If that happens, Jimmy USO could pursue his first singles title in WWE by challenging Mysterio, especially if he moves to Raw. After his return last week, Roman Reigns was set to confront his former advisor, Paul Heyman. In Raw's final segment, Heyman attempted to convince Reigns to reunite with him. Reigns, clearly unconvinced, quickly dismissed the idea. As he continued to address the crowd, Braun Breaker interrupted. Unsurprisingly, the segment escalated into a heated confrontation. Initially outnumbered, Reigns soon received backup from his cousin. Meanwhile, Gunther faced off with CM Punk. Lyra Valkyria teamed reluctantly with Bayley to pursue the women's tag team titles, and Io Sky had a rematch with Stephanie Vaquer. With SummerSlam just under 2 weeks away, this episode brought us closer to the big event. 3 weeks ago, CM Punk shoved the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther and warned him to stay out of his path. Last week, Punk participated in a gauntlet match to determine the next challenger for Gunther's title at SummerSlam. As the contest came down to Punk and Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed interfered to help Breaker. Jey USO rushed out to level the playing field, leaving Punk and Breaker to battle it out. Punk blocked a spear with a kick and followed up with the GTS to win the gauntlet and secure his title shot. This week, Punk opened Raw with a promo, declaring he would give everything in the ring when he faces Gunther. Claiming he's not just another challenger but the best in the world, Punk was interrupted by Gunther. Gunther retorted that unlike Punk, his confidence comes from results. He said the true best in the world is the one holding the championship, and warned Punk that he plans to overpower him when they meet. He also remarked that at least Punk has the crowd behind him before walking away. For a main event segment leading into night 1 of SummerSlam, this exchange failed to create the level of excitement the match deserves. While Gunther's promo was strong, it felt odd that Punk didn't respond. One of the most compelling elements of this rivalry was supposed to be the fiery exchanges between them. This segment made the feud feel like a letdown. This situation highlights how WWE's jam-packed schedule can dilute the significance of major events. While SummerSlam will likely still deliver, the lack of time to properly build anticipation is noticeable. Gunther versus Punk is a marquee matchup and deserves to be promoted accordingly. With only 1 more week to generate interest, WWE needs a major moment between these two to make the audience care. No matter how good the match ends up being, the current build-up feels underwhelming. Last week, Lyra Valkyria defeated Bayley in a 2 out of 3 falls match to earn a shot at Becky Lynch's Women's Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. This week, a women's tag team title match was made official, with Bayley and Lyra challenging Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, a match that Bayley had requested without Lyra's knowledge. Before the match, Becky Lynch came out to cut a promo but was interrupted by Lyra. Lyra stated that if she loses at SummerSlam, she will not challenge for the title again, on the condition that their match would have no disqualifications or countouts. Becky agreed. When Becky extended her hand, seemingly for a handshake, she attempted to catch Lyra off guard, but Lyra countered with a surprise move called the Man Slam. In the tag team match, although Bayley and Lyra weren't always on the same page, they gained momentum when Lyra hit Perez with a sit-down powerbomb, followed by a top rope elbow drop from Bayley after tagging in. Raquel broke up the pin just in time. Later, as Lyra climbed the apron, Becky emerged from under the ring, pulled Lyra down, and threw her into the steel steps before disappearing again. With Lyra missing from the corner, Bayley turned to tag her in but was caught by surprise. Raquel had made a blind tag and hit Bayley with the Tejana Bomb to retain the titles. Once again, the ongoing storyline involving Becky, Lyra, and Bayley remains one of the most consistently engaging parts of Raw. From the promo to the match, everything was well executed. Bayley's sneaky way of arranging the match behind Lyra's back added to the tension, and the finish helped escalate their brewing conflict. After back-to-back letdowns, losing to Lyra last week and being left without a partner this week, Bayley is likely on the verge of a heel turn. While Becky versus Lyra already feels significant, Bayley's involvement still seems likely. Whether she interferes or is added as a guest referee, her presence could influence the outcome. Looking past SummerSlam, a feud between Lyra and a newly turned Bayley feels inevitable. Given how Bayley's current run as a fan favorite has plateaued, a heel turn might be just what she needs to stay fresh and impactful. Meanwhile, Karrion Kross has been taunting Sami Zayn in backstage segments for months. After Sami defeated Kross at Night of Champions with the Hell of a Kick, Kross retaliated the following week on Raw by ambushing Sami backstage with a pipe. The next week, Kross struck again as Sami was on his way to the ring. After enduring both that attack and a tough match against Braun Breaker, Sami was announced to be out of action indefinitely. This week, Sami returned to face Kross in a rematch. Although Sami landed a moonsault outside the ring, he aggravated his ribs. As he tried to re-enter the ring, Scarlett interfered by kicking him while the referee was distracted. Sami fought back with a sunset flip from the top rope and later hit an exploder suplex. However, as the referee dealt with Scarlett again, she handed Kross a pipe, which he used to target Sami's injured ribs and secure the win. This marked Kross's first singles win on TV in quite some time. While he had lost to Sami previously, his continued dominance since then helped him regain momentum. With both men now having one win apiece, a final showdown at SummerSlam seems inevitable. Kross's resurgence is a reminder of how much talent can shine when backed by a compelling storyline. What started as quick backstage interactions has evolved into a heated rivalry with depth and stakes. Much like last year's feud with Braun Breaker, Sami has again elevated his opponent, showing just how valuable he is to WWE's storytelling. Both performers deserve to conclude this story at a major event like SummerSlam. Elsewhere, on the April 21st Raw, Io Sky was interrupted mid-promo by Stephanie Vaquer, leading to an impromptu match that ended in a no contest due to interference from Roxanne Perez and Julia. Later, Vaquer won a battle royal at Evolution to earn a shot at the Women's World Championship at Clash in Paris. This week, she had a brief backstage encounter with the new champion, Naomi, and another one with Io Sky, leading to a scheduled match that night. As the match progressed and both competitors were down, the Secret Hervis arrived. Vaquer fended them off, but as she turned her back, Chelsea Green ambushed her, causing a disqualification. Io and Vaquer then joined forces to repel the attackers. However, Naomi entered and struck Io, knocking Vaquer out of the ring in the process. As Naomi continued the assault, Rhea Ripley made a surprise return, clearing the Secret Hervis and going after Naomi. Rhea then delivered a riptide to Green as she, Io, and Vaquer stared each other down to end the segment. For the second time in 3 months, we got a great match between Vaquer and Io with a non-finish. Unlike last time, the fact that the match ended this way was less of a surprise, as it doesn't seem like the company wants to have either woman lose right now with the big matches they have coming up. Eventually, Io and Vaquer will make for a great match at a PLE, possibly with the title on the line. While there's a good chance this could be the match we get at Clash in Paris, the other possibilities aren't any less appealing. Considering the brief confrontation Vaquer had with Naomi, and even the brief stare-down she had with Rhea in the ring, WWE did a good job building intrigue around who she'll end up challenging for the title at that event. While the ending to the match was a letdown, it was exciting to see Rhea, Io, and Vaquer all share the ring together. That image was a clear example of how strong the women's division is right now, especially on Raw. From how this played out, it feels like we're going to see all 3 women team up next week against Chelsea and her Secret Service. In addition to that, there's a strong chance we'll get a one-on-one match between Vaquer and Chelsea at SummerSlam to feature them both on the show. Between this storyline and the one involving the Women's Intercontinental title, there's no shortage of great feuds to look forward to in the coming months. At WrestleMania 41, Paul Heyman betrayed Roman Reigns and CM Punk to align himself with Seth Rollins. The following Monday on Raw, Reigns returned to confront Rollins and struck Heyman with a Superman punch. As he was preparing for a follow-up move, a hooded man,